Welcome back to S.WigginsTV. I'm your host, Worldwide Wiggins. And I got something a little different today. Today we're going to do a little history lesson. Now, before I start, these words came from an older homie that I know, not from my hood, but my older homie that I talk to, on a regular basis. I respect his opinion. So this is coming from his mouth on my channel. Just a quick disclaimer. Any information that may be incorrect, feel free to hit me up. Y'all should have my number by now. But here we go. A lot of people don't know much about the history of the Hawthorne Crips. So I tapped in with a friend of mine because I'm kind of too young to know and not familiar with the Thorn like that. Besides messing with a few 304s here and there on Cornbloom by the DMV like I said yesterday. So my boy told me the 11-8 Gangsta Crips history has to do with a homie. We gonna call him BB. BB from 11 Deuce Hoover moved to Hawthorne, and he used to live around 120th Street, somewhere between Crenshaw and Prairie. He started getting to the bag and started recruiting a few G's. Some of the names included Big Hood, Little Hood, Termite, and more. And so my homie Doc, I'm gonna call my homie, his name is Doc. My homie Doc moved on to 118th from Prairie and started doing his thing. So one day, he met BB himself. And the hood that Doc is from, they beef with BB's hood, 11 Deuce Hoover. And so they had a few fades, a little tiny scrimmages, but for the most part, they got cool because they was both getting money together. They was on the hustling tip at the time. So back to 11-8 Gangsta Crip history. Now, if you take Prairie going west on the 118th, Doc told me back then, before they was 11-8 Gangsta Crips, you had taggers called KTR, Keep the Respect, which is a dope name, by the way. That name do sound hard. So over time, KTR had transformed into 11-8 Respect Gangsta Crip, 11-8 RGC. That should sound hard too. Now, there was a rider from this hood, 11-8 RGC, called Scrap. He was a loped out G who put in work for the set. But guess who his brother was? One and only Corrupt from the Dog Pound. Same one who was signed to Death Row, DPGC with Daz and Snoop, and all that. Yep. See, if you've been following the story, it all makes sense now. Remember when Corrupt told the story of how he got pressed by a little kid from Hawthorne, Paru? Because Corrupt was wearing some blue Nikes in the Blood neighborhood, and that little boy said he was going to go home and get his gun and shoot Corrupt, and Corrupt said he had to end up running because he knew that little boy was with the business. It turns out that was his brother's son, his nephew, that Corrupt went to go pick up, where he ran into the little boy from Hawthorne, Paru. And Corrupt even went to Lusinger High School. And people even argue to this day that Corrupt was actually supposed to be for 11-8 Gangsta Crip, but not 60s. That's so crazy. This is some real history right here. If you don't believe me, Corrupt even raps about it on a song called Crip With Us. Now, I can't play it on here, but I will read the lyrics. And y'all can go search it up for yourselves. And make sure you leave a comment in the section that say Wiggins sent me here. Yeah, I expect to see it soon. But he says, quote, I move out this B word at the age of 16, got my first M16 at 18. First thing I knew was 11-8 gangsters. Then don't you know, moved by the 6-0s. You ever got quoted? Well, I did, ninja, N-word. Quoted on by blah blah in Hawthorne. Okay, that's undeniable right there. Came straight from the horse's mouth. So really, Corrupt from Philly, but he a real Hawthorne baby. He came straight there, I guess to live with his father or his mother, whoever lived in Hawthorne. But yeah, his brother was an official 11-8 Gangsta Crip, OG. But moving along. Now, on the 118th cross Hawthorne Boulevard is the Eucalyptus Mob, aka the U Mob. Now they connected, but I heard it wasn't always so. My boy Doc told me at this time, the 11-8 Gangsta Crips and the U Mob was beefing because they both wanted control over 118th Street. Let me tell y'all something. I heard from more than one person that 118th back in the day was the money block. 118th, 111th, 16th or so. There was a few blocks out there that was getting money. Like they was just printing money, hustling. And they in Hawthorne, them rich white people in the area gonna spend money for that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And they could tax them extra too. You don't know nothing about that. But moving along. When time goes on, they was cool with another hood called the Raymonds. Everybody should know the Raymonds. But then they start getting into it for whatever reason. And then they had kind of separated. Now in this era, they section was all wearing Colorado Rocky hats, them CR hats, which is my guess to push RC Respect Crib. But when the separation came about, they dropped the R from their name, and then they just decided to just bang 11A Gangsta Crips. So they eventually squashed the beef and they differences with the Eucalyptus mob, and then the unity was born from there. Okay, just a little short one for y'all today, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Any comments, let me know. Did my boy tell me wrong? Put me on, man. Let me know. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Gas coming. I'm out of here. Wait!